This morning, we have new details in the that hurt 49ers defensive end Keion White. It happened early yesterday morning at a nightclub in San Francisco's Mission District. White was hosting a Super Bowl party at Delia Lounge on Mission Street. At some point, White got into an argument involving rapper Lil Baby.
The wall's closing in on 4PF, and it ain't looking good for the camp right now. Word is, Atlanta law enforcement got that RICO situation back on the radar, and they moving with urgency this time around. We talking arrests potentially dropping within weeks. Ack been on this wave for a minute, been trying to slide Baby the reel on what was coming, and at this point, everything that man warned about is playing out live in front of everybody.
On camera, they know who did it, and I'm gonna tell you this right now: if they don't arrest the person who did it, the person, Lil Baby's cooked. Facts. Remember, I'll tell you that. If they don't arrest the person who at this club within 2 weeks, Lil Baby's cooked. I'm gonna tell you why. If they have camera proof of who did the and they don't arrest you, it's because they haven't done the case. Remember that. Just remember that. So, I just want to point this out to you. This is not the 80s. Y'all somebody in a club in an entranceway or hallway where there's cameras. I get it. Everybody done flew back to Atlanta, flew back to wherever it came from. But if there's not an arrest warrant put out in the next 2 weeks or an arrest made, just remember, this doesn't go away.
Prosecutors done pulled them 4PF folders back out, and Baby sitting at the top of that list. Quick backstory for those out the loop. Fannie Willis had all her energy pointed at Young Thug, but once that case collapsed on her, she didn't slow down. She just found a new target, and that target got Baby's name written all over it.
I'm gonna tell you some things that you're gonna have to take my word or don't believe it. It's fine. I don't care either or. When Fannie Willis started targeting YSL, Fannie Willis had a bunch of people to target. She wanted Thug, she got YFN. So she got YSL, YFN. Eventually, they were going to get to 4PF. That's one of the reasons they changed their names.
These newly surfaced documents painting a real detailed picture of what the camp been up to. One of the situations highlighted involved Baby and NFL wide receiver Keion White getting into it. And not long after that incident, federal eyes landed on the whole situation. February 9th, that Monday, a Bay Area publication called the San Francisco Standard was first to drop the details. Everything popped off at a Super Bowl after party inside Delia nightclub. According to someone who was there and spoke to police, Baby and his entourage tried entering a VIP area that White had reserved, and that's where the friction started between them. The witness stepped away to locate management, and during that window, 2 gunshots echoed through the venue. Coming back up, they found Keion White on the floor with a gunshot wound to his leg.
I was like right by my bed, and so I saw lights. Like I think that's why I woke up at first. I think I kind of knew that it wasn't like the most safe place, but honestly, I mean, like it kind of seems par for the course. Like I'm not like entirely like, how could this happen here?
Internet went into a complete frenzy behind that, but nobody really giving him his flowers, especially considering this the same individual that ducked and went silent the second Akademiks presented a boxing match. You out here with all that energy, but won't square up with somebody who blogs for a living?
Sold 34,000 the first week. How the you want 40 million, man? This is delusional, man. Atlanta looking crazy right now, man. Full pocket full of hoes. This is crazy. How you ducking a fade with me? They want 40 million. The is acting like this is Jake. This acting like this is Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather fighting. Cause somebody tell yo, have you seen this? Yo, this can't be serious, bro. Bro, I wouldn't be even asking for that. And low key, yo, I'm gonna keep it a beat. You know, I said whatever he get. I thought he was gonna be realistic. I thought Lebebe is on some like he's gangster. I'm like, yo, I bet. Like, what's up? Let's like, cause I'm telling you, he's like a scrawny. I'm like, I bet. Whatever he get, just give me half. Ain't you a nigga? Y'all should be fighting for fun. You squabble up just cuz. I'm the one that everybody says probably never had a fight. Okay, you're my first fight. You get to knock me out for all this that I taught before and will continue to talk till we squat.
Baby been throwing a price tag out there that he knows good and well nobody matching, giving himself a clean exit from ever having to see Akademiks in that ring. Funny part is, Baby the one who invited all this chaos by putting Ack's name in his music like the man was fair game. That back and forth between them snowballed until news surfaced that law enforcement had been quietly constructing a case around Baby this whole time, building it piece by piece. This beef with Akademiks might actually be the domino that starts knocking down 4PF one by one until they reach Baby at the top. Because the pattern of behavior from this camp been steady. From the NFL incident to Baby's own cameraman K. Rich putting hands on Akademiks out in Miami. Ak confirmed the whole thing himself, and there's even footage and photos of his right-hand man linking up with officers after everything unfolded. Police responded to the scene, and K. Rich didn't even try to hide it. He went live and celebrated the whole thing like it was an achievement.
Say nothing happened to him.
He said something, bro, I swear to God, right hand of God. I smacked right hand of God, bro. I smacked.
You smacked Akademiks.
Yes, and then listen, after I smacked him, listen.
Yo, little baby, eat it. I'm not even gonna address it, little baby. You eat it. Because I don't know this. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm getting that little baby. Because I've been waiting for this. I can't take it out on a kid I don't know. I'm up tens of millions of dollars. I'm taking it out on this boss. Yo, little baby, if this is what you believe or he believe, both y'all eat it. Whatever y'all think, that's what it is. Both.
Seen somebody clown on live about assaulting him? Pushed. Akademiks completely over the edge. So he opened up the vault and put all the business in the street, revealing that Baby's team had privately sent him $30,000 to keep the criticism of Baby's project from ever leaving his mouth. The timeline he laid out showed that the camp paid him that bread to ease up on the reviews, then without missing a beat, dispatched K. Rich to go slap him regardless. Alright, so let's talk about what is really at stake here. Because people keep getting caught up in the Akademiks drama and the boxing match talk and all the surface level stuff. But the real story that everybody needs to be paying attention to is the fact that Lil Baby could genuinely be looking at spending the rest of his life behind bars. And that is not an exaggeration, that is not clout chasing or clickbait. That is the reality of what a federal RICO case actually means when the government decides to come at you with everything they got. For people who do not know how RICO works, let me break it down real quick. The Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act was originally built to take down the mob. It was designed specifically to go after organized criminal enterprises as a whole unit, rather than just picking off individual members one at a time. And what makes it so dangerous, what makes it the thing that has swallowed up entire crews and organizations over the decades, is that prosecutors do not need to prove you personally pulled the trigger or personally committed every crime on the list. They just need to show that you were part of the enterprise and that the enterprise was engaged in a pattern of criminal activity. That is it. That is the whole framework. And once they build that case successfully, the sentencing can be absolutely devastating. We are talking mandatory minimums that stack up fast. We are talking decades, and in the most serious cases, we are talking life. Now look at the situation surrounding 4PF and what has been documented publicly just in recent memory. You got the incident at the Super Bowl after party where Keon White ended up with a bullet in his leg, allegedly connected to a confrontation involving Baby and his entourage. You got the situation with Akademiks, where physical violence was carried out by someone connected directly to Baby's camp. You got a $30,000 payment that creates a financial paper trail connecting the camp to attempts at controlling narratives. You got social media posts, live streams, people in the crew putting themselves on camera and essentially documenting their own behavior for investigators to screenshot and file away. Every single one of those things individually might not be enough to bring a case, but stack them together inside a RICO framework and you start building something that a federal prosecutor can stand up in court and present as a pattern. That pattern is everything when it comes to RICO. And here is what people need to understand about how federal investigations actually work versus what we see on the news. By the time a federal case becomes public knowledge, by the time reporters are writing about case files being reopened and evidence being gathered, the investigation has almost always been running for a long time already. The feds are not reactive the way local police can sometimes be. They are patient, they build, they document, they let situations develop, and they watch who does what, and they map out relationships and financial connections and communication patterns. So when we are sitting here hearing that investigators have been putting together a case file on Baby and 4PF, that means there is likely already a substantial amount of work that has been done behind the scenes that the public has not even seen yet. The stuff that is coming out now is just the tip of what they have been building. And Fonnie Willis being involved changes the whole dynamic here as well. Because if there is anybody in recent history who has shown that she is willing to go big on these kinds of cases, it is her. The Young Thug situation made that abundantly clear. She came at that case with everything. Rap lyrics entered as evidence, entire crew getting indicted at once, the whole 9 yards. That case showed the world exactly how she approaches these things and exactly how far she is willing to go. So the idea that she is now shifting some of that energy toward Baby and 4PF is not something to take lightly. This is not somebody who files a case and then backs down when it gets complicated. This is somebody who digs in. What makes Baby's situation particularly precarious is that he is the name at the top. When you are the face of the operation, when your name is on the label, when everything flows from your brand and your connections, you become the ultimate target in a RICO case. Because prosecutors want to show the jury that there is a leader, that there is somebody at the center of the enterprise who the whole thing revolves around. And Baby's position in 4PF makes him exactly that person in the eyes of federal investigators who are looking at this through a RICO lens. The people around him, the ones making moves, the ones getting into incidents, the ones bragging on live streams, all of that connects back to him whether he was physically present for every situation or not. The scariest part of all of this for Baby is that RICO charges have a way of pulling in everything. Old incidents, old connections, old financial transactions, things that might have seemed minor or unrelated at the time, suddenly become pieces of a larger mosaic that prosecutors paste together for a jury. And juries respond to that kind of presentation. When you lay out a timeline, when you show a consistent pattern of behavior over years, when you connect the dots between multiple incidents and multiple people all circling around the same central figure, it becomes very difficult for a defense team to dismantle that narrative piece by piece. That is why RICO has such a brutal conviction rate at the federal level. It is built to overwhelm. So while everybody is out here talking about boxing matches and slapping incidents and who said what about whose album, the actual story unfolding in the background is whether Lil Baby is going to end up as the next major rap figure to face the full weight of a federal RICO prosecution. And based on everything that has been made public so far, that possibility is looking less and less like a long shot with every new development that comes out.